It's so easy to spend 20 minutes of absurd extra time in traffic when I'm in this car. I enjoy like kind of turning my brain off in it. It's not like soulless. It's comfortable, it's nice to look around, it's nice to hear the engine warbling along in the background. Everyone, it's Dave from POV Drives, and today we're going to be taking a look at what it's like to commute in my personal 2022 Audi S4. Some of you may have known from my other videos that I got a new job in the local Pennsylvania area. So I have about a 16-mile commute. My last commute video was about a 3-hour commute into New York City. That's round trip though. My commute now is about 30 minutes. So I just want to, kind of give an update on that, but also an update on the Audi S4. We're almost at 2 years of ownership, or very close to 30,000 miles. So as mentioned, here we are. And today we're going to be taking that commute because we have one stop for buddy Milo. Hi buddy, say hi. It's a little chilly this morning. We'll get the car started for you shortly, bud. So we have 16-mile commute with some back roads and a mix of an interstate that gets some decent amount of traffic. So it's a good amount of mixed driving and a good test for this Audi S4. So walking around, you notice the Navara blue metallic exterior with that red interior on the seats. This is a luxury 4-door sports sedan that competes with the likes of BMW's M340i, Mercedes' C43 AMG, and also Genesis G70 and the Lexus IS series. Now starting off in the rear, just take a look. We have a decent sized trunk with room for a spare tire underneath there from the factory. It's very nice. We also have the black optics package, which blacks out like the Audi logo, the S4 badging. We have quad exhaust with this nice subtle diffuser in the rear. We also get this trim blacked out and blacked out mirrors and the blacked out front Audi logo. Checking out the back seat. Say hello to buddy. Ingress egress is a little tight. But once you get in, there's a decent amount of room. So once you get into a position, you do have to kind of get snug back here a little bit. This seat's a little set far back, but even in my 5'10" size, I do have still plenty of leg room, feet under the footwell. Headroom is a little bit limited, not even, I would probably say, back to the headrest, you have just touching the headrest, or headliner. Zone of climate back here with its own temperature control, 2 USBs, this nice leather seating, red, and some cup holders in the center. A lot of my colleagues and friends enjoy the back seat. You get these subtle racing kind of bucket seats with the red flare on the outside. Looks super cool. And this interior is pretty proper and pretty subtle, but very high quality touch points all around. We also get a premium Bang & Olufsen sound system, part of the Premium Plus package. I also get a sports differential in the rear and adaptive dampers. We'll talk more about that as we get into ride quality and comfort. Now before we start up, we do have multi-way power adjustment seats, 4-way lumbar, and a subtle massage feature. Closing the door. Actually, let's hear a subtle cold start. I already did my cold start, so. We also get the sport exhaust resonator, just makes it a little bit louder, a little bit sharper, but it's nothing crazy. And before we set off on our commute, so about 17 miles, I do have to make a stop to drop off Milo, so I'll probably get there around 8. So it's about a 30-minute commute, mix of driving as mentioned. As mentioned, we do get these nice leather seats up here, a sunroof, 3 zones of climate, nice clicky, high quality buttons, just lots of high quality surfaces where you're gonna touch the most. There's some scratchy plastic as you get real low, but you never really interact with it. We get Audis. I know. Let's get on the road, buddy, not torture you anymore. But yeah, lots of high quality touch points in this Audi. Nice high quality steering, with some subtle sport grips, some red stitching, Audi S badging in a couple of locations in this car. We also get standard, I think, in most Audi S4s now is this carbon fiber trim pieces. Pretty high quality. My one ding against this car is the center console. We have cup holders really close to everything, tall water bottles, constantly bumping into your buttons and blocking some other functionality, like your drive select, auto start stop, and your traction control. So while we're at the stoplight, I don't think auto start stop will trigger, but we'll show off a little bit more of this interior. Just lots of physical controls everywhere. As I mentioned, these high quality climate control buttons. We also get a heated steering wheel, heated seats for the drivers and front passenger. At low speeds, you can bring up your 360 camera and forward facing camera, and then it'll switch over to reverse camera when you're going in reverse. It's got the 3-liter turbocharged V6 from Audi, makes about 349 horsepower, 21 mpg in the city, about 30 mpg on the highway. Made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission and quattro all-wheel drive, which is a rear designed all-wheel drive system, so a lot of this center console space is taken up by the transfer case and the transmission, which is kind of like an Audi thing. So the engine is pushed pretty far forward, but you have an extra component in the drivetrain. Once the transmission and engine warms up, everything becomes relatively smooth. That 1 to 2 shift is a little bit jerky sometimes, even when everything is warmed up. You kind of have to give it just a little bit extra throttle to get some smooth starts. Touchscreen, pretty functional. Apple CarPlay connects pretty easily. A little bit of lag as the system warms up. Your drive modes, as mentioned, I have those adaptive dampers so you can adjust your suspension between comfort, balance, and sport. I'm going to be honest, I don't know notice a difference. You can also adjust your steering, 3 different settings, and your engine sound. I've just been leaving the car mostly in auto because the nice thing is you do have you pull back on the transmission. I'll show you. Downshifts, brings you to S mode, opens up the exhaust, brings in some pops and bangs, some sharper upshifts and downshifts. And that's just a nice 1-2, gets you, right into a sporty mode if you need to make a pass or just want to have a little fun without having to mess with your settings. These seats are super comfortable, and this car has been very nice to live with on a daily basis. We're averaging about 26 mpg. This is kind of to strike the good balance though. It's not too pricey. You can find them used with a good warranty, and they're decently dependable, and they're not overstyled. There's no Audi RS4 to compete with like the M3 or the C63, but I mean, C63 has gone the way of a 4-cylinder plug-in hybrid instead of their twin-turbo V8, and the M3, is controversial looking, but also pretty pricey. Now, getting over these bumps, in auto mode, the car soaks it up very nice. We'll go into dynamic, which automatically switches over to S transmission mode. Suspension tightens up a little bit, but it's still livable. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really notice a difference between any of the suspension modes. Hence why I've just been leaving it in auto. I don't feel like I'm getting beaten up even on those larger wheels, even with a sportier performance suspension. And the brakes are probably my favorite part of the car. They're super easy to modulate, super, a good initial bite, and nice and progressive. But it's not like you breathe on them and they go, whoop. It's very easy to modulate, make smooth starts, stops. But anyways, we're, just part of my commute. We're on the way to Dogtopia to drop off Mr. Sleepy back there. And I'll get back with you once he's dropped off. The Mile Man has been dropped off, and we're running a little bit late to work. that's okay. No real performance mods done. Stock tune. Do have an intake. Ah, damn. I do have an intake. Okay. And just start. I do have an intake, and wow, this is kind of just another run-of-the-mill turbocharged V6 sports sedan. I do think the exhaust is a little bit spicy. I drove an M340i. While I do like the sound of the inline six better, this just has more of an interesting burble tune, I guess, from the factory. It's unpredictable pops. They're not always do. That sport resonator definitely adds some tone to the exhaust. And you get a nice, satisfying fart on the downshift when you're getting on it. Characteristic of Audis in the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. Handling is interesting. There's a good amount of mechanical grip from this Quattro. It does rotate decently nice, but it also kind of plows through your corner, even with that rear differential. Depending on the conditions, like if you're coming up to a turn with some speed, you can get the tail to kick out a little bit, depending on how you balance the weight of the car and throw it around the corner. But it's not going to be as tail happy as something like a G70, a rear-wheel drive IS, the M340i, rear-wheel or all-wheel drive. But it adds just the right amount of spice for a commuting daily driver. And it's really unfortunate that there's just so much traffic, because I can't, you know, take advantage of that all the time. So as we get onto the highway, you would think, oh, this is an exciting time to kind of pull out and have some spirited driving fun. But as you can see on the map, and people not yielding properly, there's tons of traffic, especially as I'm going right into the sunlight, all up and down this road to work. It's kind of a pain in the butt, because this traffic just happens because merging is just not something people understand. You know, the zipper, you know, you let one person either speed up or slow down, and then the person merging, you know, makes their intentions known. Obviously, not in terms of turning on the signal, but, you know, kind of just sneaking into traffic like that. I did it a little bit early, but like this just happens. It's absurd. But really, that's where traffic is kind of where the Audi S4 really shines. It's super comfortable, it's isolated, it's smooth, the start-stop isn't too intrusive in terms of turning off the engine and starting it up. It's all pretty smooth. What is going on? Oh my goodness. But yeah, this is my commute every day, and it's nice to have the Audi S4 for its refinement, its comfort, its subtle looks. You know, if you want to feed your ego, I do like how my car looks. I think it's very sleeper, it's very well styled, it's not too shouty and obnoxious. And occasionally I can get on it, throw into S mode, use these paddle shifters, and have a little bit of a hoon, but it's nothing too crazy. And it's why it's so hard to, you know, as a car enthusiast, not get rid of this car and just hang on to it, because it's paid off, it's decently reliable, I have a warranty for a while, I haven't had to pay too much out-of-pocket maintenance with the deal I got from Audi. See, and then it just opens up this traffic. So yeah, it's just such an easy car to live with for what I look for, having a four-door sedan, decent fuel economy, some kind of stupid accident, people don't frickin' drive here. Decent fuel economy, comfort, visibility is great all around, road presence is good. It's a good sized car. It's, you know, not too big, not too small. But while we're cruising along here, we can try out our safety systems. We have adaptive cruise control with Audi's traffic jam assist. So you have your cruise control down here, and then you have this button on the end of the turn signal to kind of enable your lane centering. And then you can let the car brake and adjust that distance, speed up, slow down, all with this control right here. It goes off 5 mile increments or single mile per hour increments, depending on how much downward upper pressure you give on the stalk. It brakes pretty smoothly. It does give itself a generous amount of room to brake. The one thing I don't like is that you just saw right there in the screen, besides it yelling at me, the steering assist kind of turned gray and it lost the lines. But it doesn't tell you that it lost the lines, so that's kind of a knock. It, you know, beeps you to put your hands on the steering wheel, but doesn't tell you, hey, I'm not centering in the lanes anymore. We're actually going to take an alternate route, see if we could beat some of this traffic. Throw in some spirited driving as well. Oh, is this where you guys want to brake? On the top of the exit ramp? Oh my goodness. Didn't mention too much of this digital gauge. You have kind of two different views and 3 or 4 different areas you can scroll through with this directionals over here, your navigation, your phone, your media, and your trip information that you can scroll through, see your fuel economy, energy consumers, driver assistance, all that good stuff. It's a nice car will auto upshift for you as well. But it's a super nice and easy display with just the right amount of information. It's not overwhelmingly too much data, but it provides exactly what you need. Engine oil temperature is nice to have. I'm gonna be late to work. It's not my fault people don't know how to drive. Just look at this, just red, and you would see in some of my other videos, it's not accident based. It's just, I don't know what it is with this road. If everyone just needs to be on this road to get to work, or because it's 2 lanes, I have not figured out why. Accidents make it 10 times worse. It happens on any road. And it really brings down the mood of my commute. When I have to drop the dog off, it definitely pushes me later. I could leave earlier, but I get up at 5:15 to work out, eat breakfast, you know, get squared away with the dog. Like I'm not sleeping in and getting up and going, you know, get my lunch ready. So for all the people in the comments, you know, saying, oh, I'll get up earlier, all that stuff, I do get up early. And I have my priorities set straight in terms of having breakfast with my fiance, setting up my lunch, hanging out with my dog, getting a workout in, you know, prioritizing myself and health before I sit in front of a computer for 9+ hours. That's okay. That's the American dream there, right there, people. There we go. Always appreciate a 90-degree turn with some space to get a little bit of a spirited drive in. This is kind of the engine and transmission combo where I want to ring it out and get those nice downshifts high up in the RPM range. But occasionally I enjoy just the subtle, refined nature of this V6. It's got a good tone. It's not the most muscly sounding engine, but there's good volume, there's good tone. The intake definitely helps. Sometimes it just sounds like a vacuum cleaner, other times it's got like a nice blow off sound. It's the only mod I've done to this car myself, and it's a pretty standard one. All right, here we are, almost 50 minutes later. Definitely relate to work to film this video, but it's okay. I do it for you guys. I don't know if my back road blast excursion really helped get me to work earlier. But yeah, it's so easy to spend 20 minutes of absurd extra time in traffic when I'm in this car. It's comfortable. I just enjoy being in it, or I enjoy like kind of turning my brain off in it. It's not like soulless. It's not like, oh my god, I'm literally in a shit box. Like, it's comfortable, it's nice to look around, it's nice to hear the engine warbling along in the background. It's comfortable. It's not most fuel efficient when you're constantly in start traffic, but it's kind of why it's hard for me to like look at, you know, I want a manual car as my next car. It's kind of hard for me. Okay, dude, seriously? Yeah. It's hard to look at a manual car for my next car because there's just not a ton of options that I'm like looking towards that are 4 doors, comfortable, daily drivers that pack that punch. Unless you kind of stick with the luxury cars, the M3, you know, some older BMW models, some older Cadillac models, the Blackwing, which is still on the top of my list because it does what this Audi S4 does, but with a manual and a pretty impressive chassis, and it looks good. It just it ticks a lot of the boxes. Like, I don't know if I want to daily drive a Camaro, even in the top trim, or like a Mustang in the top trim when I'm just coming from this Audi and its usability and all that stuff. Those would be less fuel efficient. The Golfs and the Type R and the Type S, yeah, cool, whatever. They're super impressive handling and stuff, but they're also like 50 grand at that point. I just get a used Blackwing and call it a day. And they just don't offer the extra spice other than just really good driver feedback and a manual. So yeah, the manual box is checked, but as you can see, I'm mostly sitting in traffic. It's gonna go to waste, and it'll definitely go to waste in the Blackwing. So see, this is kind of like the toss-up that I have, but I'm almost at work, I'm running late, but at least my car kept me comfortable and classy. And it burned a decent amount of gas, but I don't want a hybrid just yet. Oh my gosh, and then just stuff like this happens, just constant on the brakes. There's just so much congestion here. But anyways, this video is kind of all over the place, but you know, 50 minutes later, 18 miles, 19 mpg, car did all right. So hope everyone enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the Audi S4. We're looking only at the luxury sedan 4-door sport space, not, you know, don't come out here with your 10-year-old Subaru or your you know, hybrid. Like, that's not the right comparison. This is, somebody wants luxury, somebody wants not a hybrid powertrain or an electric powertrain for performance, you know, the last of the gas cars, before everything goes smaller engine, hybrid, turbocharging, I guess this says turbocharged, electric. So let me know your thoughts. M340i from BMW, C63 AMG from Mercedes, G70 from Genesis, Lexus IS 500 or IS 350, even though it's not the direct competitor, Acura TLX Type S, all those good things. Let me know what your thoughts are on these. I think this strikes the best middle ground between some form of reliability, power, performance, pricing, subtle styling, usable interior, comfortable interior, good handling and performance, and all-weather capability and all-wheel drive. Anyways, it's been Dave with POV Drives. 11 minutes late to work and just really doesn't understand why there's so much traffic. But I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.